10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of Falcon Heavy with Europa Clipper, unveiling the mysteries of an enormous ocean lurking beneath the icy crust of Jupiter's moon, Europa.
Hey everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David. I've been searching the interzones for more science, space and tech news to share with you. And I came across this over at Metro. Is alien life in our solar system? A £3.8 billion mission could help find out. This should be interesting. And there's NASA's Clipper probe. Very, very interesting indeed. And it's going to the moon of Jupiter. It's going to Europa to see if there is alien life under the ocean there. Fascinating. Humans have been trying to find alien life for a century or longer, and we tend to think that it may be many light years away in the deepest recess of a distant galaxy. But NASA, who know more than most of us, including how to use Photoshop, just leaving that one alone, I think it could be in our own celestial backyard. We'll be launching a rocket this afternoon to try and find out. Now, as usual, I'll leave the links to the main article below the video, so we can pop in, check out the embedded links, go for a bit of a deeper dive. If you want me on the main article, it makes for a very interesting read, believe me. At 5:06 p.m. UK time, a spacecraft is scheduled to launch on a journey which will take it 1.8 billion miles through our solar system to the biggest planet Jupiter, where it will study one of its many moons called Europa. Now, there is scientific evidence that the ingredients for life may exist on Europa right now, NASA said. Now, although scientists are not expecting to find evidence of little green men living beneath the moon's icy shell, they will look at whether there are conditions which could potentially allow life forms to exist there. Now, if they do find microbes or even something more complex, it would show that life formed independently in two places around the same star, the Sun. Yes, now this would suggest that life could spring up fairly easily once the necessary ingredients are present, and that life might be found throughout our galaxy and the universe, NASA said. And there it is, it's Europa. It's about 90% the size of our moon, and there it is orbiting Jupiter. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And here it is, the Europa Clipper spacecraft, as seen being built and tested at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory during a media tour in Pasadena, California, April 11, 2024. Again, fascinating. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yes, now Europa is thought to contain more water than even our own planet, but its saltwater ocean is locked beneath thick layers of ice. Now, inside that icy water world, there could be building blocks for life, and if so, it could indicate we're not as lonely as we thought in space. Now, Europa Clipper will orbit Jupiter and conduct 49 close flybys of its fourth largest moon in the £3.8 billion mission. It will be a while before it reports back, however, because it won't even get there until April 2030, even if all goes to plan. Yes, the launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida was meant to take place last week, but had to be delayed while Hurricane Milton cut a devastating track through the state. And hopefully, people can recover, because it was absolutely terrible. That, and thoughts go out to those suffering in those states in America that have been hit by Helene and Milton. Absolutely terrible. Conditions are now good for the craft to be launched today on its journey from a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. And by the way, the little probe that will shoot out a heat sink, we will go over there, check below the ice, but for future missions, there will be a heat sink that will be dropped through the ice, and a little submersible will be dropped in. Not necessarily this mission, but future missions. And that technology is based on the technology that was used by Bob Ballard from the Woods Hole Institute that found the Titanic in 85. So it's obviously 40 years later, but they've updated the technology. So that's the future. So we'll be able to do that. But this one will be very interesting to see some of the results that they get back. It'll be absolutely fascinating. And speaking of the launch, we have an updated video of the launch here. We'll check it out and we'll carry on the conversation when we come out the other side.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff. The Falcon Heavy with Europa Clipper, unveiling the mysteries of an enormous ocean lurking beneath the icy crust of Jupiter's moon, Europa.
Engine chamber pressures are nominal.
See that the chamber pressures are nominal as we hear. All 27 Merlin engines look great.
Rocket beginning to roll. Putting down 5.1 million pounds of thrust. Coming up, they're going to back off those engines just a bit.
So we get ready to head into max
Power
speed.
and telemetry nominal.
We hear that power and telemetry on the vehicle are good there. Everything's looking really
Falcon
well.
Heavy is supersonic.
They have reduced power in the center core to get through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure on the launch vehicle as we approach that. The two side boosters at full throttle.
A beautiful shot there is our camera team.
Max Q.
Locking into the rocket on a clear blue sky. The view from the booster cam, back down on Earth.
And there we heard the call for max Q. The vehicle is passing through maximum dynamic pressure. Next thing up in about 2 minutes will be booster engine cutoff, where we see the two side booster engines, all 18, shut down and get ready for booster separation. But the vehicle is performing very well. Looking at all the telemetry that we have, power and trajectory are nominal.
We've been flying for just under 2 minutes so far. Everything looking good. These side boosters, once they do their job, they will be expended. If you're familiar with the Falcon Heavy, you know that they bring the boosters back on certain launches, but not on this one, because all of the performance is needed to push Europa Clipper into its proper orbit.
Things continue to look good as the vehicle heads down its ascent phase here. All telemetry is looking very nominal for this flight this morning. Falcon Heavy is performing very well.
Now we're just about 30 seconds away from separating those side boosters. Their engines will cut off first, then they will separate.
MVAC is chilling.
Starting to chill down that MVAC-D engine in the second stage.
And that's where we need to get the engine chilled to the proper temperatures before flowing liquid oxygen and RP1 into it. So they're conditioning the engine to make sure things are ready for when it's ready to start up.
Stand by for booster separation.
Booster engine cutoff. Side booster separation confirmed.
And there they go.
Those two boosters previously flown on Psyche. This will be their 6th flight. We thank you for their service this morning. They did a great job of getting Falcon Heavy and Europa Clipper on its way as the center core takes over and continues mission down its ascent. Things are looking really good in the telemetry. Power and trajectory look nominal, and chamber pressures on the 9 center core engines look really good.
In just a little more than 20 seconds from now, we'll get the cutoff of the main engine on the center core booster that remains. 4 seconds after that, we will separate. Flying out over the Atlantic Ocean. There's a look from inside.
There we see stage 1
Stage
shutdown
separation confirmed.
and stage separation from the center core. Getting ready for MVAC startup, SES-1.
We're getting some applause here in the Mission Directors Center, and there you see the MVAC-D engine lighting up.
Next thing up in about 10 seconds will be fairing separation.
NYPY FTS has saved.
And the fairing has protected Europa Clipper on its ascent up into space, but once we get into space, we don't need that fairing anymore.
Fairing
There they go.
separation confirmed.
Fairing has separated, and those will be recovered, Daryl, by SpaceX's own recovery ship, Go Cosmos.
And there you see them falling away into space. That is the only part of this rocket that will be recovered.
The glow of the MVAC-D engine as it performs its first burn here. This is about a 3-minute and 47-second burn. Things are looking great. Matter of fact, this is one of the shortest first burns that has been done on a Falcon Heavy by SpaceX, but it is required to get us into that parking orbit for that long coast that we have to get ready for the interplanetary trajectory that we're going to need to get Europa Clipper on its way that we heard Jenny talk about to get those Earth assist slingshots as it heads on its way for its mission. So things looking really good this morning with the performance of the Falcon Heavy. MVAC is performing well, and everything looks good thus far in today's mission.
Usually those burns are the other way around, with a longer first burn and the shorter second burn, but in this case it is reversed. As we look at some crystal clear views of the MVAC-D engine, the stage 2 that's carrying Europa Clipper, orbital light is shining both on the spacecraft, the second stage, and on planet Earth.
Center core
It is
FPS
beautiful.
has saved.
Well, that was absolutely amazing, wasn't it? Yeah. Love to see that. It's definitely going, and can't wait for 2030 to see what it brings back. It brings back memories for me of watching the Viking probes land on Mars in the 70s. Fascinating. And watching, watching the Voyager probes get launched. Absolutely incredible. Europa, Jupiter's 4th largest moon. Now, from previous observations, scientists think Europa's ice shell is 10 to 15 miles thick, floating on an ocean 40 to 100 miles deep. Now, while Europa is only a quarter the size of Earth, its ocean could have twice as much water. Now, with a diameter of 1,940 miles, Europa is about 90% the size of Earth's moon. Now, although similar in size, it is much brighter because the water ice at its surface reflects over 5 times the amount of sunlight as our own rocky moon. Now, life on the surface of Europa could not survive as it would be blasted by radiation from Jupiter, but it is thought that the radiation may create fuel for life in an ocean below the surface. Yes, it will not have enough fuel to power it all the way to Jupiter, so to get there it will take a helping hand from the gravity of Earth and then Mars, like a slingshot, before the engines fire back up when it gets closer. Now, Europe is considered one of the most promising and potentially habitable environments in the solar system. I'm assuming they mean Europa there. A little bit of a typo. From what I've seen of Europe, it's not potentially habitable at the moment, but you get that. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video. Love to hear what you think. All right, take care, and as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say,
please, Spock, do me a favor, and don't say it's fascinating. No. But it is interesting.